Good morning, Twitch City!
Listen, I'm working on something.
It is June 25th, 2025, and we are ready to roll up, roll out of bed, and roll the fuck out for the day. How is everyone doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I am okie dokie.
Everything seems fine and bright and sunny this day.
Once again, I'm not pushing up Daisy, so it's a good day.
Amen to that, David. Amen to that. So, one little announcement: we were going to start multi-streaming to the Red Pill, but the Red Pill requires a 24-hour hold on your streams before you can live stream. So we'll start doing that on Friday. That's why we're running a little late. I could not get the stream to start, like, period. It was giving me a hard time.
Sounds
so.
like something a red pill would do. Hold you hostage.
Oof.
Should have picked the blue pill.
I think the answer stays the same there. We're all just slaves to society, man.
Society, man. Society. Well, on the agenda today, we have Florida, who wants to build an alligator Alcatraz. We have more on that later. Congress debates weed reform while half of them are clearly high already. Trump promises to make Fortnite skins great again. And I swear this country's like Skyrim with 800 mods. It runs, but not well.
Oh, you stole my joke, bro. Damn.
Um, Jumping right in our political news today, cannabis reform. Let's talk about it. A quick rundown of cannabis related bills pending in Congress as of June 2025. We have H.R. 1384, the Veterans Equal Access Right, that paired with H.R. 966, the Veterans Cannabis Use for Safe Healing Act. Uh,
What?
Basically wants to let VA physicians in legal cannabis states write medical marijuana recommendations for veterans, closing an access gap. And it'll bar the
Hoorah.
VA from denying benefits solely because a veteran uses state legal medical marijuana and allows doctors to discuss, but not yet formally recommend marijuana as treatment. HR 2934, the state's 2.0 Act shields individuals and businesses that comply with state and tribal cannabis laws from federal prosecution, permits interstate cannabis commerce among legal jurisdictions, and opens the doors for standard tax deductions, ending the unfair IRS 280E penalty. We also see HR 8219, Evidence Based Drug Policy Act, directs the Government Accountability Office to review whether the marijuana's Schedule 1 status is still aligned with its current scientific evidence and its risk and medical use. We see HR 2935, the Prepare Act, establishes a bipartisan commission to design federal regulations in anticipation of an eventual nationwide adult use legalization. And finally, we see a total nationwide ban on hemp derived THC. Bill number is to be determined, but this would outlaw all hemp derivative THC products, considering Delta 8, Delta 10, etc., at the federal level, scheduled for a key committee vote this month. These bills have more side quests than Cyberpunk 2077 and just as many bugs.
To be
Now, on the
fair,
flip side, go ahead.
to be fair to your joke, Cyberpunk is a wonderful, fantastic game now.
It
Yeah, but
really is.
it had a sketchy start from what I heard.
I can't
So did our
confirm or
country.
deny that.
Oh, it definitely did have a sketchy start, but it it got its No Man's Sky redemption story like 100%. It's officially one of the greatest games ever made.
Well, that's fantastic news. Hopefully, we'll see that in our cannabis legislation as well.
Amen.
On the flip side, what these laws and legislations would produce essentially for businesses and some consumers, you would see no deductions for the Marijuana Business Act filed in both chambers. This proposal would lock the IRS 280E's denial of business tax deductions for legal cannabis operators. Even if marijuana is rescheduled federally, which provides a clear federal regulatory framework ahead of legalization, reducing legal uncertainty and allowing multi state operators to plan licensing, compliance, and expansion strategies with confidence. Meaning that the cookies brand would be able to be available on a national level, or your favorite weed that you pick up out of Cali or out of Seattle or out of Oklahoma City, you would be able to find, depending on that farm structure and how and its expansion, you would be able to find that those same growers and that same weed in in different states. So you would see a more interstate compact of being able to get California grown weed in, say, Oklahoma or Kansas. So that's what we're looking at there. No deductions for Marijuana Business Act would cement the IRS 280E status quo, keeping effective tax rates sky high and squeezing profit margins, especially brutal for small and mid-sized outfits. This meaning that if the IRS 280E does get locked into place, that is what bars people in the cannabis industry from being able to open a bank account in their business's name. They're the ones that's why you can't use a credit card or a debit card at your dispensaries and stuff like that. So getting that out of the way, getting the IRS 280Es and being able to license yourself strictly more as a business, what you would see a more put together cannabis industry than what we have now, where it's mainly in its entirety a cash operation. So you'd be able to see tax deductibles, you'd be able to see interstate commerce, or you'd be able to buy certain types of weed in other places. And so those are the things that we're looking at. And then lastly, the total nationwide ban on hemp derived THC. This would outlaw Delta 8 and Delta 10 products almost overnight, slamming the brakes on roughly a $2 billion market. Farmers, processors, and retailers would see the entire product become federal contraband. Now, with these revelations, um, matched with the actual legislation that's in front of Congress currently, brother David, what is your current thoughts on our cannabis legislation, and what changes would you hope to see moving forward?
Fuck them all. That's all I gotta say. No, so honestly, some of that stuff makes sense. Some of it doesn't make sense. Um, I don't even know where to start. Veterans.
So the
So let's start. I mean, let's start with veterans. Veterans should get, in my opinion, they should get access to medical marijuana. It,
Fact.
we we
without having their disability question.
you know, honestly, question it. I don't really give a fuck. To be honest, I don't give a fuck. If you're in the military, you deal with so much other bullshit anyways, and
Right.
half the motherfuckers that get out already misrepresent their disability forms and most of their medical paperwork regardless. Cuz anyways, veterans have to manipulate paperwork in order to get their benefits that they should have got when they got out. Anyways,
Right.
so whatever, they already get access to mushrooms and psychosil the whatever it is anyways.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin. um
I had
so
a long trouble with saying that word too and remembering that as well.
fuck that
So
word, maybe I should try him and then I could say it.
There you go.
um but I mean honestly, if you can already get mushrooms, you should get access to weed. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
um
Absolutely.
like, and another thing with the veteran stuff is like they don't necessarily deem you can't have it. They just highly frown upon it. And then like if you're in a veterans program, like like a treatment program, that's when they do outlaw it for sure. But like if you do have just you're pulling in your disability stuff that I mean, they don't say you can't have it because I have one, but I'm also in a program right now for a treatment to where they say you can't use it even if you do have one.
Well, so
Right.
I think that's a little misrepresented. Not what you said, but I think that in general, cannabis use in the military is misrepresented.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's been
100%.
they've been testing it for about the last decade on veterans for PTSD, um, certain types of aches and pains coming from different disabilities. The fact that it's being introduced now is kind of just, hey, we've done our studies, let's go ahead and toss it out there. It,
Right.
which is a step in the right direction. They have to do it. If it's going to be for the military side or the civilian side, one side of the government has to say, hey, we're going to go ahead and allow the use medically, federally
Right.
Right.
across the board. It has to happen.
Right.
So, if it goes for veterans, cool. It'll be on the civilian side in a couple of years. You can't allow one without the other.
Right.
I'm completely agree.
Um, as for the tax deductions, absolutely fucking not. Okay, they can't get a bank account. We should change it, but you shouldn't be able to. What I see happening from all those laws that you just listed was the federal government coming into the marijuana industry and trying to bully everybody else out.
Just like they
Nobody
did,
needs.
just like they did with big tobacco, the exact
Yeah.
same thing,
Yep. And that's
and
when I look
coffee.
at this when I look at this screenshot of what you read off, 100% it just says, "Hey, government's going to come in and they're going to take the fuck over. They're going to come in and they're going to grow. They're going to come in and they're going to say, "Hey, we're going to make a massive growery in Oregon or Washington, one of the good states to grow weed, or in fucking Hawaii." And they're going to say, "Hey, you know what? We can trade this shit everywhere. We're going to set our own price and we're going to run everybody out of business. Fuck you and your tax write offs." Two,
Yeah.
if you're growing weed, you don't really need a fucking tax write off.
Well,
One, like,
I mean,
why?
maybe on a small scale, but on a commercial scale, it does. There are some business expenses that other businesses get to use as a write-off that you would never, that you would see the cannabis industry paying out of pocket.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I
give a
mean,
fuck. I don't think those companies should get write offs either. So you want to? I'm going to throw you under the bus here. You want to say you're left leaning, and then you want to say,
no,
hey, let's give big organizations tax cuts? The fuck?
no, I think the tax cuts should be available for businesses small through a corporate grow setting. Like if you got 50 plants and you sell to your local dispensary under a license in Oklahoma, that costs you 10 grand plus whatever your genetics and plants were. So,
Or you can be a
I mean, if you're
smart business person and you can sell your genetics to the person in Oklahoma and then ship your seeds down to Oklahoma, which you can do that
well, yeah, but not
anyways.
everybody's a geneticist. Not everybody's a geneticist. I mean,
Right. That-
I went to school for 6 years to learn how to do genetics just for cannabis, and I'll tell
right.
you right now that that shit was not easy.
It does right, but that doesn't matter. That is a business that you could start up just like anybody
Right.
else that wanted to go to and be a geneticist.
Right.
Motherfucker, if I want to grow weed, I can call you up and be like, "Hey man, I want to buy some fucking seeds from you. And you're going to ship me the
Absolutely,
seeds."
but
I don't
someone's still got to grow the weed. Somebody's still got to grow it.
right. I can know how to grow and you can know how to do genetics. They're two completely separate things. If you're worried
Right.
about if you are worried about your genetics, then you're not going to also be growing a commercial sized uh, grow.
Grow up. Yeah.
you're saying, hey, I want access to both, but you're not even going to do both.
Yeah, you chances
Both,
are
if you
you
I see
would
do,
the I see
probably
the
be
I see the
selling your
point you're
if
genetics.
making. I see the point you're making.
if you do both, you're going to be a commercial grow, and then at that point, fuck everybody else.
I mean,
That's one of those
I know.
topics that's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
It is a double-edged sword. I if they're going to legalize it, legalize it. If you're going to grow it, grow it. You know what? If they say, hey, David, you can only grow 12 plants for personal, or 10 plants for personal. That's, I mean, let's fucking be honest. Do I really need more than 10 plants? It's
No,
10 plant on a 3-month cycle. The motherfucker, that's more than that. I smoke a lot, and that's more than I smoke.
So
yeah,
MT
that
Man
would
in the
be
chat,
15 each.
MT Man in the chat is actually bringing up some very good points. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and read these off.
Yeah,
Um,
go ahead.
so MT Man said, so this is federal the decriminalization to make room for legal businesses to be able to come to federal compliance for taxes. That's what every state's done directly before legalization, decriminalization, and decriminalization always comes first. So the federal legal system is so confusing. They're talking decriminalization, and in the next breath they want to ban hemp, and then he was agreeing with what Brother David was saying. And I think not just military, but so many federal workers like truck drivers are being pulled in both directions. The doctor says this medical card can help, but the government says your doctor is no more than a drum and drug dealer, and you can't work. And this is why it's disastrous, like with state laws, because they're trying to incorporate them into our federal program. Like we've seen it work in so many states with so many different ways that it's hard to conceive like coincide one thing with another because the state does this and another state does that. Like we need to come up with a federal baseline like Canada did, or there will be bipartisan bickering for another several decades, which is true. Like the feds don't have to solve it all, just build a base. Is essentially what MT is saying, and I think he's correct.
Right.
No,
I
MT
think
Man in
so
the
too.
chat definitely has a great point. And honestly, what I know a lot of stoners, or at least a lot of users, want to see, a lot of cannabis users want to see, is more of the decriminalization on a federal level. Like it doesn't need to be a Schedule One narcotic anymore. Which I there was a uh the Evidence-Based Drug Policy Act is HR 8219. That's where we're looking at whether marijuana Schedule One status is still in accordance with today's science and medical use. So definitely
They'll
the first step is a federal decriminalization and knocking it down on the federal on the scheduled narcotic scale. That's definitely step one. But
so
as far as federal regulations go, I definitely would like to see the cannabis industry work similarly with under the same laws and guidelines that other small and major corporations have to follow, and the what would you call it, the perks that you get from owning a business in America, whether that be tax write-offs, whether that be banking, whether that be advertising and marketing. Like I would personally like to see more of that because you're going to see a boom of small farms being able to actually branch out, especially in an interstate compact or anything like that, where me growing weed in Washington, I can go sell it in Oregon. Yeah, that you're going to see a lot of small farms boom for for the second time in the industry. And because if we're being completely honest, in the last 5 years, the cannabis industry has become increasingly stagnant. You don't see a lot of new farms. You don't see a lot of new growers. You don't see a lot of new genetics
well
coming out.
so
So growing that industry would provide you with so much more content, for lack of better words. It would provide you with so much more product and a better quality of it as well.
so that it not necessarily, because so what you're describing would happen in a perfect world, but in reality we saw what happens. People
No,
start
I'm describing what
groweries.
happened in Canada.
But hear me out. So people start groweries, they end up selling off or they fail.
Right.
But they fail for one of two reasons. They grow shit weed or they can't sell it because everybody else and their fucking mother started growing. We've seen it
There is
happen
I
that
mean,
percent.
just
we've
as
seen
much
it
Several
we've
points.
seen it happen
dispensaries,
in Oklahoma, we've seen it happen in Colorado, California, Oregon, Washington.
There's
especially
Like
with
more
being
weed than there are stores to
dispensaries
sell it.
as
You're not wrong.
hospitals and churches. You know what I mean? Like every corner's got a dispensary these days, especially here in Oklahoma.
oh
If
yeah.
it's not a dispensary, it's a liquor store. If it's not a liquor store, it's a church.
Yeah. I
To touch
definitely
on
understand the oversaturation concerns.
yeah, to touch on what MT in the chat said, uh, talking about banning hemp. So,
It's not banning hemp. It's just banning THC derived from hemp. So your Delta 8,
well,
your Delta
right,
10s.
if right. Anyways, so what I was gonna say, the point of banning the THC that's hemp derivative would be legalizing regular THC, and then the hemp industry could be the hemp industry, and we can go back to hemp paper, hemp clothing, hemp whatever the fuck we want,
Yeah.
which honestly it should be. If you're gonna have a bunch of grows outside, you don't really want a bunch of people growing hemp, where you're gonna force
No.
everybody to have you're gonna force everybody into a contained greenhouse,
Right.
and then you're saying, okay, well now small time Dan over here that wants to grow in his backyard can't.
Yes,
Right.
MT, it is. He asked if it was a way to put a blanket ban on things like spice.
Yeah.
But essentially,
Yeah.
yeah,
Essentially.
that's exactly what they're trying to do. It's
Well, I
it's
mean, so far the so far the legislation, the way it's written, is they only want to ban. They don't want to ban hemp. They just want to ban a certain
the
chemical that
THC
comes from it.
derivatives from
Right.
hemp.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
So
only
while I understand that opens up, go ahead.
the only problem with looking at things at single like one at a time and what they're supposed to do specifically is you're not looking at the big picture that's going to come from that small change. Like, so when you again when we pull up the everything you said, that the veterans with equal access right, veterans cannabis use for safety healing,
Yeah.
um or for safe healings, evidence-based drug prepare act, and then the hemp derivative, all of that combined is saying, hey, we're going to ban hemp derivatives while allowing veterans to have equal access, veterans to have cannabis use, states to regulate what they want to do with cannabis laws, and then we're going to go ahead and force push for a schedule to decriminalize
Right.
weed with evidence-based drug policy, and then
Right.
the prepare act. So if you look at all of that together, that's what they're wanting to do. But at the
Yeah.
same time, that fucks over everybody that doesn't have millions of dollars in regular cash flow or government funds to do any sort of business.
Right,
It
right.
across the whole picture. That's why you can't just look at it. Yeah, we can talk about only making hemp derivative THC. We can, hey, if we only look at banning that, that's a completely different story. Then, because then people are like, oh, well, I can't get Delta 8 or I can't go
Right.
get Delta 10. Well,
Right.
okay, why the fuck does it matter if I can walk around the corner and go to the fucking cannabis store?
No, that's fair. I mean, it definitely is a weird a weird little side quest thrown
Controversial.
in there.
Yep.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it's a like Eli said a little bit ago, it's a way for the government to force it. They're going to force their way in and force everybody out like an arrowhead all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just going to say, floop, fuck y'all's.
They did
And
it with
then,
big tobacco. They did it with
yeah.
pharmaceuticals. Hell, they're doing it with coffee right now. Like, it
right?
just they just want to
So,
corner
They're
the
doing
so
it
are
to
they
market.
trying
posers
to
right
are
now.
they trying to destroy the artisanal? Are they trying to destroy the artisanal market? Is that what you guys are thinking, or
No, they never will.
like the small batch, private select? Is
Nah,
that
they
the is
they
that the
never
market they're
will.
going after,
They
or
never
are
will.
they no?
Nah. It's just like even though Walmart is so prevalent, like even though Walmart is so prevalent and so huge, there will always be small businesses for something. You know what I mean?
There will
Right.
always be there will always be small businesses, and there will always be luxury.
Yep.
That's
You
fair.
will always have your person that'll sell you, a fucking brick of weed, and then you'll have that guy that's like, hey, you can only buy a quarter ounce at a time, and it's
Not the
the best
Mexican
weed you're
brick
ever gonna
weed.
get. I've never smoked the Mexican brick weed, but
Hey, that's one thing I'm not gonna lie. Well, that's one thing that kids these days
Nostalgia.
they will
you
never
guys are all like,
know
I'll
the
smoke it.
struggle.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm bougie. I'm that guy that'll go in and be like, oh, you can only buy a quarter at a time. Okay.
Back in the day
Fuck
when
the.
it was back in the day when it was actually a brick, if you put some mortar around it, you could build a house with it.
Yeah, like kids these days,
Fuck, dude, they
like
have no
they
idea.
they don't know the struggle like
Hey,
that.
well,
It's kind of like having your CD player up on the dashboard on the car using a cassette aux player. You know what I mean? Like
Yep,
struggles that they
100%.
won't ever know about.
Got that shit duct
so
taped to the dash so it rumbles left.
a, li-
Hoping you
a
don't hit a
little
pothole so it didn't skip.
a little runoff from what Eli said. They actually do have hemp blocks now that are fire
Really?
resistant,
Yeah, yeah.
and they
Hempery.
and they and they build houses with them and buildings.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah,
That's
they
crazy.
it's like two or three times stronger than concrete, and it's like half the cost.
Yeah. If I could figure out where to buy them fuckers from when I go off grid, my house will be a hemp house.
Oh, absolutely.
Get hempin'
And if you
pimpin'.
don't, and if yeah, apparently it's supposed to like keep your house cooler. It's fire resistant. It's very strong. It has a good wind resistancy, so it's not getting blown over in tornadoes, which is good for like your Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri architecture. You know, um, so it's a very good type of direction for
Unless you're
that.
in tornado.
Unless what?
So unless you're in Tornado Alley.
Well, no,
No, do
that's
they?
what I said. It
So
has a
yeah,
it has
they
a high wind resistancy.
yeah
That's why I
those
said it's good for the construction in Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska in Tornado Alley. It would be better than the concrete we use that they use now.
yep. The only thing that it wouldn't be better for is the taller buildings.
Yeah,
But for a normal 2 or 3 story house, it'll outperform any material that we build out of.
yeah. Wood,
It's all they're
concrete,
also three
steel.
foot thick. They're also 3 foot thick by 3 foot tall Lego pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
Cool little things.
Yeah.
I think that was all I have for the marijuana though. I'm still
Oh
gonna
yeah.
smoke it,
I'm
regardless of what they do. If I
yeah.
gotta grow it in my backyard, then yeah, it'll probably be in my basement, so no one knows. Fuck that cop next door.
Hell yeah. Well, if that's the end of our political segment, I'm gonna hit us with a Canazone Cannabis Company ad. If you guys are in the Seattle area, make sure you stop by Canazone Cannabis Company down on First Street, down by the stadiums for all of your cannabis needs. Mention Munchies and Mana when you go in, and it's 50% off the entire store. So if you are in the Seattle area and you are down on First Street near Soto or Southern Seattle, then make sure you go over to Canazone for all of your marijuana needs. Our next segment, we have a nerdy rant with Eli. He's got some interesting updates for us for the Xbox community and the Microsoft community. And then he's also got some other things that he wants to lay some knowledge college. So I'm going to hand it on over to Eli, and he is going to get started on his tech rant.
So a new Xbox update dropped sometime this week, and kind of pretends it's doing you a favor. The good news, your Xbox dashboard is it's finally got tired of being a digital junk drawer, and kind of decided to evolve a little bit, kind of like a Pokemon, with fewer sprinkles and more existential dread. Now, when you highlight a game, the Game Hub magically appears and it says, "Hey, we've been kind of creepishly keeping tabs on your mediocre KD rate. It shows your achievements, your stats, all of which your friends have somehow beaten games that you've raged quit years ago. Think of it as your personal gaming resume, curated by your console's inner gossip. That's everyone's consoles. Your console doesn't just talk to itself. You can also hide system apps, pin your favorites, and Marie Kondo your way into a minimalist masterpiece because nothing screams productivity like spending 20 minutes reorganizing digital tiles that you forget about tomorrow."
Bro, fuck them digital tiles. I ain't used them goddamn things since they fucking came out.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you about the Xbox PC app, dude. It's gone full Peacekeeper mode. You can now access Steam, Battle.net, Game Pass, everything. Basically, short of letting you launch Solitaire on your smart fridge. It's your
Yeah, and it
gaming
still moves
Cold
slower
War
than
summit.
grandma.
Yeah, it sure fucking does. But now, there's a lot less nuclear tension and so many more patch updates. Jesus fucking Christ, so many patch updates. Here's the kicker though. Copilot for gaming, it's now on your phone, meaning you can scream into a digital void and say, "How do I beat this stupid boss?" and actually get an answer, complete with tips, walkthroughs, and a silent nod of pity.
Now, that part's actually pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
But yeah, your console, it's a little smarter now, but it's a lot more passive aggressive. Manage your library like a pro. Beg your phone for mercy mid game. And bask in the warm glow of technology, trying its best not to roll its eyes at you. Now, the whole problem with that is that games are getting more expensive,
Oh, true.
and video game economists, they're predicting a crash the likes of which we haven't seen since ET released on the Atari.
Oh, god damn.
Um,
That's bad.
the hobby which we love so much is getting to the point where video games, AAA games specifically, are costing $80 to $100, and the common gamer just can't afford that. You guys, it's ridiculous. I can't afford it.
No, it's
I know you guys can't afford it. It is
right.
it's awful. And
Can we get
so
a GoFundMe for Eli so we can play games?
right,
And I mean,
please.
and it's not like every game that comes out doesn't have another $100 worth of DLC or a $30 fucking battle pass.
Precisely, like it's a problem when you, especially like character action games or games like Naraka or Fortnite, you know, like games with excess skins. Like I was looking at the Scarlet Nexus DLC list. There's $132 worth of DLC in Scarlet Nexus. Like, what do you need that for? It's a single
Right.
player game. Like,
So
anyway,
much more
like,
story.
despite like, so basically the Switch 2, it released earlier this month. It came out with a $450 price tag, and despite this, the Switch 2 sold over $1.1 million in its first week of sales. That outperformed the PlayStation 4, who sold 2.2 million copies in its first 2 weeks, and the PS4 sold a little under a million consoles in its first week of conception. So, despite that, clearly there's a demand for a new console from Nintendo, but Nintendo's greed is going to essentially cause a crash to our market, and it's a huge problem, dude. Like
Nintendo Nintendo needs to be like Diego and just
I
give
Nintendo,
give it away.
give it away, give it away, give it away now. Holy shit! I knew he would squeeze a fucking Diego joke into there somewhere. But
If you
like,
guys
and
don't remember, on Monday we talked about Diego saving the tortoises by
Yeah.
having over 800 offspring.
so
Yeah, he single-handedly saved his took his species off the extinction list by fathering over 40% of the current population.
But here's the thing about all of this. Like, so you got the Nintendo Switch 2, and the Nintendo Switch 2 dropped, like, it came with a bunch of ports of, like, at least 10-year-old games. Like, the best example I can come up with is Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is almost a 10-year-old game. It costs $50 to buy it on the fucking Nintendo Switch. It commonly
God
goes on
damn.
sale on Steam for like $5, like on the fucking regular. Nobody is gonna want to pick up a port for a fucking 10-year-old game for $50.
Right.
It's just not. I don't care how much you love
Or
the
your
game.
newest
Like, I
or your
love like
newest
I
video
love
game.
Yakuza 0. It's one of my favorite fucking beat 'em ups of all time. I would never pay $50 for Yakuza 0 in this day and age. No, not at all. Never, ever. Fuck that. And
Not
I
even in
love
VR.
Yakuza. No, not even
Damn.
in VR. Like, it's the price point. Just if it were a brand new Yakuza game, yeah, I'm down for that, 100%. But it has to be its own curated experience, like, for VR at that point. It can't just be a port. Like, we've had our days of getting ports in VR. Like, we've gotten Resident Evil 4, the VR port for Resident Evil 4. It's not good. It's not good. Like, you need to specifically curate an experience for VR for the most part. Like, Valheim's VR mod is excellent, but that is specifically curated for VR. They rebuilt Valheim from the ground up, that mod team, for VR. Like,
So what do you think's going to take off next? Handheld gaming or VR? Which one's
VR.
going to take over?
VR.
handheld gaming and VR are kind of sitting on equal footing right now. Like, VR has a bit more of a niche following. The problem with VR is that people are not patient enough to train their brain to adapt to using VR. Whether it be from, like, the discomfort of getting sick, like, for the first time you're in it, like, you spend too long in it and it makes you sick, or they're afraid just in general. So it makes it more of a niche thing. And handheld gaming is getting to the point where, Xbox is creating a handheld with Logitech and Ryzen right now. Like, we have the Switch 2, we have the Steam Deck. There are more options that are affordable and at a better price point, and just give you a higher rate of accessibility with handhelds. That is going to
I will
take off.
I will say though, as VR becomes more accessible, as these AAA game producers start putting out VR games, uh,
Well, here here's the thing
preferably
about
after the
this, and
market crash,
nobody
so that I'm
wants to
not paying
listen
a
to
hundred
me.
dollars for a VR game.
Nobody wants to
But
listen to me when I say this, but there are companies that specifically make VR curated content that are becoming AAA devs themselves in their own market, like Skybound,
Right.
Stress Level Zero. There are some really amazing developers doing some amazing things with VR, and they are
Right.
essentially going to be like the storefront, like the head of the table when it comes to VR experiences, long
Right. They're
before
going to be the
you know
Bethesda of
something like
VR.
Rocksteady or Ubisoft or Rockstar. You know, like they've cornered
Right.
the sit down gaming market, but they will never top what Stress Level Zero or Skybound are able to do with VR as a console, as a network, as an engine. You know, like never,
Right.
like because it will never be their focus.
That's fair.
Like
I mean, that's completely fair, and I agree with you. But I mean, what I was saying was, as we see the accessibility, like as these VR headsets and games and stuff become more like accessible for lower income, or even get more marketing than what they're doing right now. They're
marketing
You're
is
gonna
not
see
the
them break.
problem.
You're gonna see them break out of that niche eventually. Like
Yeah, it, it happened for
it's
a
just
little
gonna
bit
come it's
when
just gonna
when
come at a marketing point.
right, it happened for a little bit when COVID was going on in 2020, like when we were in the pandemic. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
VR VR
but
took off in a
those VR
huge
sets
way.
where you got to hook them up to a computer or to a second body
Not at all, not at
source,
all. With the Quest 2, the Quest and the Quest
and
2,
nowadays you're seeing, yeah,
the Quest and the Quest 2 came out in 2020, like and that the
is that right?
Quest 2 was the highest selling VR headset that you could buy. Like it was most sold.
Right.
Like it's still the
Yeah.
highest grossing VR headset you can see on the market. Like it's made the most.
Right.
Like people are buying Quest 2s over Quest 3s just because the Quest 2 is it's accessible out of the box. You put it on, you set up your avatar, you set up your room, and you go. And essentially, you know, it is its own you know, you don't have to have a computer to jump into a game and play right away. You download the game off of the App Store and you walk around your goddamn living room and you kill zombies. Like it
Right.
is what it is. And that is super accessible and the common person can do it. The problem is the common gamer getting over that stigma of, oh, well, I'm gonna look weird playing in VR, or VR makes my head hurt because I didn't take the time to train my brain to play in VR. And that's what it is. It's a simulation. Just like you go in, you hop into the fucking space simulations when you're training to be a
Yeah.
fucking astronaut, it gives you the exact same feeling, okay? And people do not understand that. You cannot hop into VR and expect to be okay after playing for more than a couple of hours the first couple of times you hop into VR. Like it is what it is. Like
That's fair.
and
That's fair.
and and people don't understand that because they want to hop in and they want to play The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners like in one sitting, just play straight through the story, and you're not gonna do it, bro. You're not gonna be
Right.
happy with
It's not a sit
yourself.
down game.
Your head's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You're gonna puke.
Right.
Like
Right.
and
And that breaks the stigma of a lot of gamers these days, where they're sitting down for 6, 7, 8 hour gaming sessions.
right. But the problem is the average gamer wants to hop into VR and play for 6, 7, 8 hours like it's a regular gaming session, and then they expect to be okay. And then when they get motion sickness after hour number two, 1 or 2, because they're not used to it,
Right.
they automatically assume, well, oh, every time I play in VR, I'm just gonna get sick. Nah, man, you have to train your brain, bro. Because think about it this way: you're fucking zipping through the air like Spider-Man. Your brain, in your mind, you're zipping through the air like Spider-Man. If imagine
Right.
what it would feel like if you were doing that in real life. Would you not get fucking queasy after a little bit?
Right.
It's a
right.
subconscious thing. Like that
Absolutely.
subconscious thought, oh, I'm getting queasy, actually makes you queasy. And that's what people don't understand. That's the problem.
That's
That's the stigma we have with VR, and that's what's holding it back. It's not
that's
the
fair.
marketing. A little bit of it is there not being a lot of competition for meta when it comes to the headsets because nobody's topping the Quest right now. but
Right.
a lot of it is
N-
the
Not for under a thousand
stigma.
Not for a
dollars. Not for
reasonable
under a
price.
Right.
Yeah, not for under a
Not
$1,000.
sure. That's that's neither here nor there. Like, but the problem is the stigma that VR makes you sick. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. That's what fucks people up. That's what makes people scared. Like my wife won't even try VR, and I have tried and tried and tried and to get her to try it, and just even sit down in like a VR experience for 30 minutes. She won't do it because she's afraid she'll get sick. And it's like, dude,
Right.
if you just sit down for 30 minutes and you chill in a nice vibrant sit down experience, or you walk around, like I even like tried to get her to walk around our house in Valheim, just cuz like actually walking around your house in Valheim versus walking around like flat, you know, like it's a completely
Right.
different experience. It changes your perception of the whole game. You know what I mean? And
No,
she won't do
absolutely.
it because she's got that stigma in her head that it's just automatically going to make her sick. And for some people who have vertigo or get really intense motion sickness, you know, it's 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 plausible that it could, you know,
She
but
needs to try AR glasses first.
more often than not, if you can handle like riding in the passenger seat of a car going over 70 miles an hour, you are fine in VR. Like, and all you got to do is train your brain. Start with an hour one day, do 2 hours the next day, skip a day, do another 2 hours the next day, do another 3 hours the next day after that, and just slowly build your tolerance to it and take a day off if you've got to take a day off. That's all it takes, you guys. It's real simple. It's literally just training your brain. It's like, it's gonna feel like doing homework. But once you get over that hump, you'll be able to sit in for 8 hours. I have done an entire 24-hour stream where I did not remove my headset at all and played Valheim for 24 hours straight. I slept in my bed in Valheim. I walked around. I had adventures. I sword fought. I fished. I rode my fucking locks. This was before they had the Aspen. But essentially, just train your brain. Take yourself to school for a little bit. It'll be perfect and you'll love it.
Great. Well, we
That's all I got.
appreciate you on that. We'll appreciate you on that nerd update for the day. Definitely want to give a shout out to Eli for bringing that knowledge uh and all the updates. Tune in Friday to catch his next nerd rant, and we're gonna plug the we're gonna send out the Space Mountain Discord ad, and then after we get back from that, we are going straight into Florida or Fiction, an interactive game. So make sure that you stick around in the chat. Make sure you call in, and we are going to check out the Space Mountain Discord. Do you need a group of people who understands what it's like to be a streamer, to be a gamer, to be an avid radio listener? Come check out the Space Mountain Discord, where we have a niche for just about everybody, and if we don't, we'll make one. Space Mountain is one of the greatest Discord servers that you can find. There's friends, there's fun, and there's always something going on. There's people to talk to and network with, whether you're a streamer, a gamer looking for friends, or just a loner that's looking for somebody to hang out with. Come check out the Space Mountain Discord. All right, everybody, we're back with Florida or Fiction. This is a game that we're going to share outrageous headlines. And you, the listeners, and also the guys in the studio here, are going to guess if it's a real headline or if it's made up. Only I have the answers right now. So everybody, make sure that you're logging into your your Twitch chat or calling in to the Discord and to give us your answers. The first one up, a 70-year-old.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I
Well,
don't
I mean,
know,
we got to pick
man.
one. You got to pick one. True or false?
You might want to reread that. Discord crashed.
Okay, I got you. A 70-year-old man destroys $10,000 worth of spam. A 70-year-old man was charged with destroying $10,000 worth of spam as he urinated on a pallet of spam and Vienna sausages inside a Sam's Club. He was later found posing on the floor model lawn furniture. One of our callers, MT Man 1987, thinks this is fiction. Does anybody else disagree with him and think this is a true Florida headline?
I'm gonna go with it's false.
I think it's false.
True.
Well, Brandon is
I
the
don't
only
think.
one who gets it right today. This is a real Florida headline where
How
a
the fuck is a
70-year-old
pallet of
man,
spam worth 10 grand?
Jesus
apparently
Christ.
it
You'd be
was
surprised.
it is a Sam's Club pallet. And if you haven't been to a Sam's Club or like a Costco type store, those pallets are quite large. The thing is I'm trying to figure out how a
How much?
70-year-old man have that much fucking urine in him. Our, our next
And
headline, Subway
how you gonna
Joyride
destroy
ends in crash.
canned food?
What's that?
I said, and how are you gonna destroy a canned food just by urinating on it?
Well, because you
Well,
can't. It's
yeah, they
a
can't
food
sell it.
safety. You can't sell it after that.
Yeah, true. I mean, shoot, they have mouse species on them. Yeah, I mean, like,
Subway Joyride ends in crash. A pair of thrill-seeking teens hopped onto an unoccupied subway train, joyrode it, and crashed it. They attempted a quick escape, but authorities swiftly nabbed at least one after the mishap drew police attention. Is this a Florida headline or is this fiction?
That is true. I remember reading about that a couple days ago.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That is true. That is got it right
How the
off the
fuck?
bat.
How the fuck do you steal a train though? Like,
A subway train because you know it comes back to the same point that
right?
you stole it from,
Like,
right? Like it's just a circle. It's like where are you going? Where are you gonna where I don't know. Is that
like
your
that's.
is that your car broke down and you're like, that's okay, we'll just take the B.
yeah.
I dude, I really want to know. Like, I really like what, like
I
I
just
want to
want to know
know.
what YouTube tutorial they watch to be able to do it. Because who the fuck knows how to drive a fucking train?
I would, I would probably, I would bet to say that those subway trains are pretty easy to operate,
Yeah, with a forward and a backwards button.
All right,
or
where's
a lever,
One of
a
our- one
button.
one of our callers says they probably didn't think it through.
it?
It was
Well,
GTA
yeah,
kills me.
it was GTA.
All right,
But like,
our next headline. Our next headline: Miami Beach slaps flamingo fines on Dorito dispensing tourist. Park rangers now issue $150 citations after chip craving flamingos staged a Dorito flash mob. Snack at your own beak's risk. Is this a true Florida headline or is this fiction?
That's 100% true.
I want to say I spent time on the East Coast back in my day, and I've been slapped with a $150 sagging ticket. So for something as ridiculous as that, I want to say that that's true. For the obnoxious, just thought of this.
Right. All right. Does everybody have their answers then? And then you're all saying this is true?
I don't think it's true.
I have a hard time doubting most Florida headlines. Oh,
Man, but I could see park rangers giving out tickets for trash or using the wrong bait, but not for having a bag of Doritos on the beach.
Well, I hate to break it to everybody, but this is a fictitious, that's right, fake headline. It's a fake Florida headline. Uh, Thank you, ChatGPT, for providing that fake headline for us. Okay, our next one is a dorm vent mushroom farm. Biology major Jenna Park rigged her AC vent with humidifiers, UV lights to cultivate psilocybin mushrooms, tanking local pizza shop sales by 40% before RAs followed the funky aroma straight to her suite. Is this a Florida headline or is this fiction?
That's got to be fake.
yeah, that's gotta be fake.
Gotta be fake, but I want it to be true.
Right.
Hundred
I
percent,
want it
yeah.
to be true so bad. This is in fact this is in fact a fake headline. This one is actually thanks to the Copilot system, the Copilot AI system. We appreciate that fake headline being sent to us. And then our last one of the day: police canine unit caught in a snack heist. In the U.S., a police dog was literally caught red-pawed helping itself to snacks, earning top billing in the department's official report. Apparently, even canines can't resist treats. Is this a Florida headline or is this fiction?
This is true.
I want to
Fake.
say I I want to believe it's true for sure.
Just
Has to be
just fucking
fake.
just deputy dog in the evidence lockup. Just don't worry, guys. I'll be right
Man,
out.
man, a trained dog would never. A trained police dog
With a little
wouldn't
cocaine on its upper lip.
wouldn't.
Oh god.
Lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I.
Oh, where was I? But yeah, a dog that a police dog that went and took stuff off the counter, it would never have been a police dog. So I don't like logical me says no.
This is a true this is a true Florida headline out of Miami where their dog or one of their canine unit named Baldo was caught taking treats off of a crime scene.
That's what I'm
This
fucking
is a
talking about.
Hell yeah.
this is this is a true Florida this is a true Floridian canine unit. Gives zero fucks, and those treats are 100% his. Um,
Someone had the munchies.
oh man. This concludes our segment of Florida or fiction. We appreciate everybody playing with us. We do have another interactive segment coming up right after the break. We are going to hear an advertisement for Space Mountain Esports. Do you play games competitively, but you don't have a team? Would you like to join a community of people who also like to play competitively? Have you competed in any tournaments or have past esports experience, but you're not on a licensed team? Come check out Mountain Sport Space Mountain Esports. Come check out Space Mountain Esports, where they have the best in the competitive edge with coaches, practices, and team building. So make sure you guys come and check out Space Mountain Esports in the Space Mountain Discord. All right, coming back, we are hitting up the Stoner State of the Union, where the vibes are high and the expectations are realistic ish. Let's face it, if stoners ran this country, we'd be chill, hydrated, and no one would ever forget to mute themselves on Zoom again. Tonight, we laid out a bold new version for America. No more billionaires without vibes, no more Wi Fi dead zones, and yes, mandatory snack stimulus checks. Every citizen receives one bag of flaming hot Cheetos, one frosted honey bun, and and a reusable blunt wrap biweekly. We'll call it Universal Munchies Access. Phone lines and chat is open. We want to hear your policies. If you were commander in Keef, what is the first law you would pass? Things like, should Taco Bell be tax deductible? Can your dog get an emotional support dog? Is accidentally watching 6 hours of Skyrim mods a protected religion? Should all presidential debates be played out in Smash Bros? Hit us up with your with your policies, your commander and Keef policies, and the first law that you would pass as a stoner and or someone with good vibes. Guys
It
in the
would be
studio, I was
it'd
about to say,
be
guys in the studio,
illegal.
get your laws ready.
It would be illegal to be less high than me.
It would be illegal to be less high than David. I think I got you beat on that one. I think I'm good. I don't. I think I'm. I think I'm within my legal capacity.
I
I'd
Anybody
think
say
that's
got
the
any?
only. I think that's the only law you would need. There'd be no more fighting.
every 30 minutes there's got to be a smoke break.
Every 30 minutes is a mandatory smoke break.
Let's be honest. If you're a true stoner, you don't even want to go to work.
Right.
I'm such a stoner. I tried to make growing weed my work.
Someone in chat said a lifetime sentence for anyone who pees on spam.
What?
A lifetime sentence for anyone who pees on spam. That 70-year-old man that urinated on the.
Hey, he'd
I'm
probably
gonna say
he'd
we
probably
have
have
a
a better
problem.
lifestyle. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Oh
you had
shit.
done 3 hots in the cop for
Yo,
free.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. This brings back up a conversation that we had the other day. I would 155% make every political opposition debate with fisticuffs. Like you got to be able to physically back up the laws and legislations that you want to pass. So you better carry a big stick and speak softly because motherfuckers out here boxing for their democratic rights. And you know, I would personally pay money to watch DGT, old Donald J. Trump, hop in a fucking boxing ring with Obama and just duke it out. I mean, just like if you are trying to pass a bill, you better be able to back that up with your fucking hands. That's all I'm saying. That's my first law as commander in Keef is that'll make America great again because then if you got a bad idea, we're just gonna find somebody to beat your ass until it's not a bad idea anymore.
So, so let me get this straight.
Yeah,
Bernie versus Rogan.
I'll do it. I mean, Bernie's gonna lose, but I'm there for it. I mean,
You're like, I'm gonna watch that ass beating.
100%. Like I love Bernie. I'm a big Bernie supporter, but I'm watching that ass whooping. I, I am I am tuning into that pay per view. Just Rogan with another leg kick.
Bernie,
Low key though. Bernie's one of
Bernie,
those one. Bernie's
Bernie
one of those
ducked
old
it.
Jews. Bernie's one of those old Jews though. He knows an ass whooping. I guarantee you he at least makes it to the second round with
Bernie,
Rogan. I guarantee you Bernie Sanders makes it to the second round with Joe Rogan
what do you get? You guys think that's a good
in a three
idea?
minute round. In a 3 minute round, guarantee you he makes it to round two. He's
Eli, you
just
got
built different.
anything on that?
Nope.
He's just built
I'm
different.
just letting y'all have this one, man. I'm just here.
Eli, what's your first law as commander in Keef?
Gotta be
No more souls like video games.
gotta be a ban on Souls like video games for sure. You can put out one every decade. One Souls like
One a
game as a
year.
company
A
every
decade,
decade.
one every 10 years. Just to switch it up a little bit.
Fail.
Callie or Brandon, you got any commander in Keef first laws?
uh, if you're a stoner, I'd say that would be your occupation. That
That's your
would be
job.
your job. Yeah,
What do you do for work? I smoke weed.
I smoke weed every
exactly.
day.
How's how's the pay for that? It's green, motherfucker. It's green. Well, it looks like the
Yeah,
world's wild out there. Go ahead.
I can't really think of anything I would. I mean, I could think of some stupid weed stuff, but
That's okay.
you know, I would just like people have to build their houses out of hemp now, or out of weed,
Right.
leftover trim, like whatever.
Oh,
Save the planet.
I'm all for hemp house building being a law, 100%.
That'd be cool.
Probably add on 5 to 10 minutes for the late start. But no, the world is wild out there. Um, but maybe if we all slowed down and passed a pre-roll and wrote laws like we wrote Skyrim lore, we'd have a country that feels like less of a glitchy Bethesda launch. So spark one up for freedom, hydrate for the nation, and remember, in the stoner state of the union, the filibuster comes with a playlist.
All I gotta say is the munchies are hitting me.
Hell yeah. Well, don't worry. We'll get wrapped up here in the next 15-ish minutes, and then you can go munch on some munchies and get your mana replenished.
I'm never gonna munch on stuff. You think I don't got snacks at my desk?
Well, um, that leads us to our next segment. Um, this makes sense if you don't think about it. This is a segment where we unpack real world headlines that sound logically right up until your brain wakes up and starts asking questions. Today's story comes from the most aggressively creative state in the Union, Florida. According to actual human adults in charge of public safety, there is a proposal floating around to build a detention facility in the middle of the Everglades surrounded by actual alligators and pythons. They are calling it unofficially alligator Alcatraz.
I
Now, on the
like it.
surface, right, on the surface, this has that cartoon villain logic that weirdly tracks. No fences, no guards, just miles of Florida wilderness full of prehistoric nightmare fuel. But the more you think about it, the more it starts to sound like a side mission from Far Cry, Florida. Objective: escape the gator moat, craft flip flops out of palmetto leaves, and survive a monsoon made entirely of mosquitoes and fireworks. And also, who's building this, Florida? The state where your pet iguana might freeze and fall from a tree in January. Like we're trusting that weather infrastructure with a biohazard swamp prison. This is giving big Fallout 76, but make it the Department of Homeland Security vibes, like someone added alligators as an environment hazard and forgot to patch it. So I want to hear from you guys. What's something you've heard recently that technically makes sense until you say it out loud? Remember to let us know in our brand new Munchies and Mana channel in the Space Mountain Discord. Make it crazy enough, and it might even end up in our next episode. With that being said, uh, you're going to want to put that in the topic suggestions of the Munchies and Mana uh, in the topic suggestions of the Munchies and Mana Discord channel inside of Space Mountain Discord. You can leave your craziest headlines there,
Somebody
and
in the
we
chat
will
said,
read them.
"Sounds like a Trevor mission."
Sounds like a Trevor mission. That's awesome.
I love that.
So make sure you go check out the Munchies and Mana. Make sure you go check out the Munchies and Mana page in Space Mountain Discord. Leave your craziest headline from this week. And on Friday's shows, we will do this segment again. And if your headline is crazier than ours, it might just end up in the show. All right. Next up, we have Brandon. He's going to be bringing us the weather, some weather across the U.S. for the last couple of days and the next couple of days, and also cover sports. So I'm going to pass it on over to Brandon, and he's going to get you updated there.
And good morning. Bringing you the weather, the crazy weather across the U.S. Today's weather in the U.S. in the East Coast cities roasting at about 100 degrees. New York's I their fridges as vacation spots. Plains, plains, thunderstorms, hurling hail in the size of tennis balls. Watch out! The skies squads. Mother Nature just called in a tennis ball sized hail clusters strike. No UAVs needed. Just dodge if you value your armor. Mid Atlantic, real fast, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, leaving people slicker than butter biscuits and praying for cold sweet tea on tap. We also have it here in the Southwest, flash floods turning desert highways into impromptu water parks, convincing some of the people looping the song of storms on their uh, Serena. Or I might be saying that wrong, but oh well. And in the sports, speaking of flash floods, OKC Thunder are the new NBA champions as we close out the NBA season. Halliburton's situation ends up in injury in game seven. He underwent surgery on Monday evening with Dr. Martin O'Malley at the hospital for special surgery in New York, according to the Pacers. While the typical recovery for the tendon tear is 8 to 10 months, some experts suggest it could take up to a year or longer to return fully back to the basketball activities in pre injury form. The Pacers are not confident to see his return in 2025 or through 26 season. For the Pacer fans, go ahead.
I was saying that's sad. Halliburton's hell played a hell of a playoff and just overall championship championship run there. It was sad to see him go down with that Achilles injury in game 7. So definitely hope that he gets a quick heal. Everything
Speedy
goes well with his
recovery.
physical therapy and stuff cuz yeah, cuz would love to see him back on the basketball court. But hopefully he's taking the time off that he needs to make sure he's fully healed and we will see him back in that 26-27 season.
Seeing how much he's a fighter, I'm sure we will, and I'm sure he'll take care of it as much as he can and recoup as best he can through recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a side note, for Pacer fans, when it rains, it pours. The Thunder ended up clutching the Game 7, 103 to 91, leaving their 68 to 14 season to be remembered with recording breaking performance for players like SGA and Williamson. In other sports news, a 1 year, $13.65 million deal is done for Aaron Rodgers as he headed back to Pittsburgh. Solid vet presence if big if he can avoid injuries like last season.
Oh yeah, because Rogers in Pittsburgh, because nothing says reboot like switching coasts in your 40s.
Right.
I swear to God,
We
Aaron
also
Rodgers
see,
gets traded more than fucking Kevin Durant does.
But not as much as
exactly.
Pokemon cards.
Almost damn near. He's been traded like in the last 8 years, he's been traded 5 times.
I mean, but he still hasn't switched careers as much as Michael Jordan.
Okay. All right now. Let's leave the goat out of it. Goddamn.
Or anybody else in this chat.
We also see McDavid's name is popping up in trade circles with Toronto, seen as the ideal landing spot over Florida. A Leafs Olia reunion could reshape the Stanley Cup picture.
Imagine McDavid to Toronto, double the drama and triple the cold shoulders at family dinner.
I know that's right.
Haters gonna hate, David's gonna bake.
And John Daly's Hooters hustle when Daly doesn't make a cut, he heads over to a local Hooters and at Augusta to sign merch, earning about 780K more than some top PGA finishers. Someone's got a different kind of tournament to win, I guess, these days. Uh,
I fucking love John Daly so goddamn much. This man missed the cut in Augusta. And he said, "You know what? I'm going to go to Hooters and get drunk." Goes to Hooters, get drunk, signs a whole bunch of merch and walks out of Hooters with $780,000. Like he's in Hooters for like 6 to 8 hours, just drinking the entire time, signing shit, and walks out with more than what he would have won if even if he placed outside, like if he would have placed outside of the top 10, he made more than what he would have made in that fucking golf tournament that he missed the cut on.
I mean, look, he it
I
kind
love John
of
Daly.
gives me the same feeling with the Mike Tyson fight. I think Mike Tyson made more money losing the fight than he would have if he really had given his all and truly won the fight against Jake.
And I'm still a little salty about the Tyson fight, mainly because he fought
I
sick.
feel like it was scripted.
I mean, I just a lot of people feel like it was scripted, or and I mean it very well might as it very well might have been, but just seeing like the training videos before he got sick compared to what we saw in the ring, completely
Right.
different. So whether it was a scripted WWE style event or whether Tyson was just fighting not at full health, I still think that fight would have been better if they would have taken the PR hit and if they would have
Let
taken
it
the
go.
PR hit and delayed it. If they would have pushed it back another month to let him fully recover. And honestly, if Tyson would have just taken the time to listen to his to the health experts that he was working with and stuff that told him it was too early for him to actually go into this competitive fight, that would be that's just where I don't know. I'm still a little on the table about the Tyson fight, but fighting at his age, anybody fighting at his age, you're gonna see those types of struggles in a competitive environment.
100%.
Right.
I I personally just think it was thrown in general. If
That's fair.
uh, we Tyson's never fought like that. If you watch
No.
any of his videos,
Right.
any video
And
of him,
the
he's never fought in that style. He's never
and the
been
recap too, if
he's never
you
been let me
review
hold back, let the other person advance. Nah, fuck
that
that shit.
that
He's
right
never
there, you can
he's
tell he
never
held back
been
so much.
he's never let somebody else be the fucking aggressor.
Uh-uh.
Right.
Nah,
Right.
So
nah, not at all.
No,
And
I definitely get that.
Well, that's
and
sports for you.
you're gonna tell me old man syndrome's gonna let some fucking asshole push up on you? Nah,
Oh
no.
no,
Oh, you got timid with old age? Nah, fucker. We just saw a
no, he
video on TikTok of some old man bitch slapping the fuck out of some teenager for throwing food at his wife.
exactly.
Like, come on. This shit
I
was
forgot
thrown.
about that video. That shit was funny as fuck.
Well, that's definitely sports for you, where the facts are real, the contracts are huge, and the logic is usually with hamstring injuries.
I'm loading a ball
Furthermore,
and saying goodnight, guys.
I know that's right.
Well,
I guess furthermore, I'll
well,
leave
guys,
this to Eli or
just like Aaron Rodgers' groin, this show is officially pulled. We've covered it all today. Alligator Alcatraz, Xbox passive aggressive updates, and the ongoing saga of Congress doing cannabis legislation like it's choose your own adventure book with the pages out of order. The NBA crowned a new champion. Daly dodged a cut and still got paid, and Florida once again proved it's not a state, it's a genre. And hey, shout out to the weather for trying its hardest to turn the US into a live action disaster sim. You've got flash floods in the southwest, tennis ball hail in the plains, and on the east coast, folks are roasting like rotisserie regrets. So remember, folks, if you're overwhelmed, confused, or sweating in places you didn't know could sweat, just know we're all flying in the same Bethesda coded country together. So hydrate, rotate your saves, and don't take legal advice from anybody with a podcast mic and energy drink sponsorship. And if your local rep introduces a bill called Operation Gator Fence, maybe ask a few questions or at least roll for insight. And hey, if it
and
makes
hey, if
sense when you don't think about it, it might just end up being on next week's episode. So make sure you get your weirdest headlines put into make sure you get the weirdest headlines put into our Discord chat, the Munchies and Mana Discord page in the Space Mountain Discord. This has been Munchies and Mana in the morning, your go-to source for critical news, questionable takes, and just enough emotional damage to make the group chat interesting. Whether you're lighting up or clocking in, stay weird, stay hydrated, and for the love of all that's patched, update your firmware. See you Friday, Twitch City. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and tell your therapist about us. Bye.
Deuces.
What a great show. What a great show. What a great
We're gonna raid Pondy Walrus, everybody. We're raiding Pindy. Oh no, Pindy's not letting people raid right now. Oh no. Let's see if there's a Pablo online. There's no Pablo. Ah. Anybody else got anybody suggestions? Any suggestions? Throw it to Zhang. Alright, we'll raid Pondia next week. Let's see what Zhang's got going on. Ooh, Zhang, it looks like he's oh, he's sleeping. Zhang's sleeping. I don't know. I can't see my list because I'm on the. You know what? We'll raid Zhang anyway. He's currently going through the story of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. He's taking a nap, but he'll probably be back in like an hour. But he's there, but he's not. Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll go with Matt Flows. For sure, for sure. Matt Flows won't let me raid either. Oh, wow, dude. I think we'll just wrap up till next week, you guys. I tried. We'll see you guys on Friday. 8 a.m. Central. 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in.